Hello, all you beautiful seekers. I'm your host, Samantha, and this is the Sage Witch Mooncast. I wanted to get one thing out of the way before we begin. I recently signed up for buymeacoffee.com, which is a website that helps support individual creators such as myself. As I've said many times in the past, I am a one-woman show. I do all my own writing, editing, and tech support. So if you like what I do, you can head over to buymeacoffee.com/thesagewitch and show your support there. There will also be a link in the podcast description if that's easier. So let's get started. I am not happy with niches. I just can't ignore the interconnectedness of the universe and how one thing affects another. When people see my name on social media, they are sometimes disappointed when they find I don't post a lot of spell how-tos or make suggestions for hard-to-find exotic spell components. I don't talk about how to manifest riches or how to protect yourself from every little thing that goes bump in the night. Upon further inspection, they find I talk a lot about minimalism and sustainability, which is probably not something you would expect to find on a page dedicated to witchcraft. It has been suggested to me that perhaps I change my name. After all, the word witch can be off-putting to some, and if I centered more around other aspects of myself, I could have a much bigger following. And I've considered it. But I feel I would be misrepresenting myself. I feel it is my responsibility to be a representative of my kind of witchcraft and to help relieve some pressure on witches, both new and accomplished, to adhere to a specific aesthetic or a path. And it's okay that we live different lifestyles. I support you on your path. For me, I enjoy living this kind of lifestyle and sharing it with others. Which brings me to my holistic view on witchcraft. Minimalism, sustainability, and a holistic lifestyle is very much a part of my craft. So today, I wanted to focus on minimalism and how I use it in witchcraft. At the moment, I am planning on making this something of a two-part podcast, and we'll be talking about sustainability aspects next week. One thing I do talk a lot about is energy, of how everything is made from it, and the sacredness of our own personal energy. The things that we have require our care, attention, and yes, our energy. You have to wash your clothes, dishes, and care for your home. And the more you have to use your most precious resources to care for them. Time and energy. I would like to share a little bit about my journey with you today. For me, it began to feel like my stuff owned me. I spent time on it that I could otherwise spent doing other things I wanted to do. I solidified my intention to live a minimalist life after my parents both passed away. After my mother and father passed, I inherited a lot of stuff. It was incredibly overwhelming. I sifted through their belongings, choosing what to keep and what to donate or give away. I felt guilty when I chose to get rid of something that meant something to one of them, I felt pressured to hold on to those things. If I didn't, I felt I would be betraying their memory, or even worse, letting them go. I came to the realization they were not their stuff, and I was not obligated to hold on to it. By holding on to those things, I was not making space for healing. After going through quite a few boxes, I started to become more comfortable with parting with those things. I offered them my gratitude, and then I let them go. Eventually, I settled on a few items that meant something to me. It's important to mention that this took years, as there was a lot to go through. I don't want you to think this happened overnight. Becoming a minimalist can be intimidating at first. It certainly was for me. In order to become a minimalist, I would need fewer things, but they would have to be higher quality than what I would usually buy. I feel it's also important to point out I did not just get rid of everything that didn't meet my idea of the minimalist aesthetic. I didn't get rid of those things just to replace them with new things. I used things until I couldn't anymore. As I find I need to replace things, I do it mindfully and find exactly what fits my needs. Which means those things usually cost more than what I was used to spending. This made me anxious, as financial insecurity has been a major hurdle for me to overcome. When my old items became threadbare or broken, I would have to replace them, or decide whether or not I needed to replace them at all. Once I took the leap into investing more into what I owned, I found I needed less of it. Things lasted longer. It was hard at first to spend more on items, but for me, I find I spend less when I invest in myself. But unless you have a good amount of disposable income, this transition can take some time, and that's okay. I've been working at it for a few years now myself. Investing in yourself can be new territory. First, you have to decide that you're worth the investment. If you struggle with self-worth issues, this can be a very hard thing to do. By investing in myself, I found I elevated my personal power. And as we all know, personal power is very important in witchcraft. Dare I say, it's the bedrock. Minimalism is more than just stuff. Though stuff is usually where people start. It's certainly where I started. But for me, minimalism carried over into my thoughts and feelings. Along with decluttering my space, I was decluttering my mind. Much of this was done through meditation and training myself to view my thoughts from outside myself. And of course, this carried into my spiritual practice as well. By investing in myself, I affirmed that I was deserving of good things. Physical, mental, emotional, and so on. Let's do a quick visualization. Close your eyes and imagine you're making a soup. Perhaps first, you add onion. You can smell it cooking and almost taste it. You know that soup is going to taste like onion. Now, add a carrot. Now the soup tastes like onion and carrot as well. You can still taste the onion. You can pick out those oniony nuances, and you can tell it's there. And you can do the same with a carrot. Now, bring out a bunch of vegetables. Tomato, leek, peas, squash, potatoes, and anything else you can think of. Spend time chopping all those vegetables. This is taking a lot of your time. Once you've finally chopped all those vegetables, add them to the pot. Now taste the soup. What does it taste like? Can you even tell anymore? At this point, you think it tastes like vegetables, but you cannot pick out each individual flavor. They're all muddled together. It will probably still be tasty, but what is the taste? This is a good representation of what happens to me when I have too many components and steps in my spells. I lose focus and the ability to decipher what energies I'm working with. Keeping my spells minimal helps me to focus on my goal. I can fully lend my energies to that goal and not be distracted. That's not to say we can't work with complex energies, but even the most complex of needs can usually be broken down into one of a few different kinds of magic. Love, both platonic and romantic, abundance or fertility, protection, which includes banishing, divination, and healing and or wellness. Once we get to the heart of the matter at hand, we can better tailor our spells and focus our energies towards those goals. Much of social media showcases the collections of witches, shelves upon shelves of herbs, stones, and other oddities. I feel this puts pressure on witches, especially new witches, to have the same kind of collection. For me, I would rather have a few precious crystals I have formed a relationship and bond with, a kind of symbiotic relationship, than shelves upon shelves of dusty stones. I do have a very small curio cabinet where I keep my own collection. Each one is precious to me. This is a collection I have curated over the course of at least 25 years. Another way minimalism serves me in my witchcraft path is it cuts down on consumption and waste. Without the earth, well, I wouldn't have my spirituality. It is my home, where my physical body is. I feel it is my duty on this planet to be an advocate for the health of the earth. Many components and spells are exotic, to say the least. They have to travel many miles just to get to you. Not only that, but in some cases, the harvesting of these plants results in them being endangered, and it threatens the fragile ecosystems of where they're native to. Taking a minimalist approach has helped me in my journey to care for the planet. And so, my friends, that is about all I have for you this week. I do have some very exciting things going on, and I cannot wait to share them with you. So if you want to be updated as to what I'm doing, you can follow me on social media, on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, under my name @TheSageWitch. And I also ventured into new territory and actually created a TikTok. The name for the TikTok is The Sage Witch Talk, spelled T-O-K at the end. I'm not sure how often I'll be posting there, but I'm just testing the waters at this point. It's an interesting platform for sure. I hope you all are having a beautiful Friday and that you have a wonderful weekend. And I wish you all the best of the seasons.